Dear friend, fellow patriot, lover of liberty, here we go today in the celebration of good. I've got my pink. I'm frozen for some particular reason. I don't know what the hell is going on here. I am frozen. I'm frozen. What's happening here? This is the damnedest thing. There we go. I was frozen for a moment. I'm sorry about that. Forgive me. You were frightened, weren't you? I've got my pink hat on. Breast cancer awareness, pink, whatever you want, pink. I remember when we had the chance, I have purchased this. I thought this is years ago. We had the 2024 hats going. And my friends, I am feeling so good. Who's feeling good? Are you feeling good? Who's feeling good? Who's feeling good? Who is feeling great? Thank you, Weird Matter. Who is feeling great today? Come on, I want your positivity. Are you looking at the numbers? Are you see what's happening? Are you looking at them? It is unbelievable. In fact, I don't want to say too much because I don't want to jinx this thing, but we are looking like they're going to kick some arse. And everybody knows it. And you're starting to see the prognosticators start to say that which they are fully aware of. Dear God, it's wonderful. So get ready, dear friends. Let's ready. We're gonna have some kind of fun tonight. I really mean it. As we watch, my Tampa Bay. I'm calling friends and family, everybody to make sure there's a Cat 5 bearing down Tampa Bay, Fort Myers, Cedar Key, St. Pete Beach, Treasure Island. I mean, right there. Oh, this is something. People are being told, get out. This is the big one. This is the big one. I'm wondering what's going to happen, like with Davis Island, which is right inside downtown Tampa. Derek Jeter was there. I think Brady might have lived there. The water is right there. So we're going to be talking about that, the latest poll numbers, and Elon Musk. So much to talk about, dear friends. But before we begin, before we move on, let us first of all take this important and critical word. It's important. And by the way, people were, let me say something. I told you before about disaster spending, disaster for whatever you want to call it. Costco was talking about selling precious minerals, and people were buying into what? Water, power, food, ammo, and gold. And somebody asked you, well, where's a good place to get gold? Where's a good place to... The only place, the best, the greatest guy in the world, Colin Plume. I've known these folks for years. I've endorsed them for years. They have the best ratings. Listen carefully. Take note. Take particular note. There's a revolution happening right above our heads. It's about to make silver more precious than ever. The sun's power is taking over the world. It's growing so fast. It'll be the biggest source of electricity by the 2030s. Solar. Here's the kicker. Every single solar panel needs silver to work. We're talking about a silver paste web in every panel, turning sunlight into power. Smart investors are already making their move, and that's where Noble Gold Investments comes in. With a silver IRA, you can surf this incredible wave of growth. It doesn't matter who sits in the White House or what Wall Street does. Solar power is unstoppable, and silver is its secret weapon. As the world goes green, your retirement could be going sterling silver. Don't let this opportunity slip through your fingers in 2024. Visit LionelNationGold.com. You may get up to 10 free brand new 1-ounce silver Trump coins. Listen to that. Or a 10-ounce silver American flag bar with every qualifying IRA. That's LionelNationGold.com. And remember, there's always a risk of investment, and there's no guarantee of any kind. I remember a while back, people would always laugh at this notion. Laugh. The world, and I'm sure you know the same thing. The world, people who laugh at stuff, they think everything's so funny. They think everything is so. Oh, you and your disaster porn. Really? Really? Let me tell you something right now. I don't know if you've noticed this, and I don't know if you've paid any attention to this, but I am telling you right now that there are people right now who are absolutely, they are beside them. I hear this, and I can't believe that this is allowed to happen. And let me also take this opportunity to tell you, because I want you to listen very carefully. I don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to happen, but people have been asking, tell me again, where is that food, emergency food? Because there are places that sort of kind of have this, but the best company around is My Patriot Supply, and it's preparewithlionel.com. That's it. That's the link right there, preparewithlionel.com. That's the one. People have been asking about this. And also, people have been asking, can I give this as a gift? Can I give this to friends or family or kids? Absolutely. I never thought, seriously, I never thought that we would live in a world where we would even need this, or it would even be even remotely necessary. Seriously, I thought to myself, no, come on, this is not the United States. Yes, the United States. It's absolutely unbelievable. So anyway, my friends, remember that preparewithlionel.com, preparewithlionel.com. Let's get down to brass tacks, as it were, as we are. First, let's go through a couple of things here. I don't know where to even start, but let me start with this. Let me start accordingly with this, okay? Elon Musk is changing everything. Elon Musk has got cojones, the likes of which nobody's ever seen. He was on with Tucker Carlson. We are seeing a shapeshift where people on platforms like this are going to rule the game. I don't want to keep talking about Fox News. God bless them. They serve a purpose. It is so over. One of these days, you're going to say, remember that? This was it when Roger Ailes was here. Even now, it's lost its bite. So listen very carefully to this great, I'm going to say great American, even though he wasn't born here. Elon Musk, my hero.
Not a teleprompter. That's crazy.
But if he loses, it's going to be hard for you to pretend you never supported him.
All in. In the deep end.
Yeah, no, you are definitely in the deep end. You cannot touch bottom.
No, I'm like rolling around. I'm like a pig in mud. I'm like, it's all in, baby.
Is it fun?
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
How hard?
I mean, there may be some, in the hopefully unlikely event that he loses, there may be some vengeance on me.
Were you kidding?
I mean, it's possible.
It's possible?
It's wonderful to hear him laugh like this, because what he's saying is specifically that this is the end of everything that we know kind of sort of to be true. I mean, it's over for her. Kevin says Fox News has become a neocon propaganda channel, but it's also, let me just say, I don't want to spend time necessarily critiquing a channel. I want to critique the message. And they've lost their way. They've replaced, we need really serious people who are responsible, I think, for explaining what needs to be done, to explain specifically what needs to be done. And with all due respect, and listen, God bless him. I know he's a nice guy, Kev. I know you're a friend. But Jesse Waters and these people, look, it's good. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. God bless him. He's doing the best he can. But it is so milquetoast. It's absolutely the most milquetoast stuff I've ever heard. I don't understand it. Where is the anger? Do you remember? Do you tell me you remember when it was great at first, right around I don't know, 2000, a little before that. Remember the internet then, how terrific it was? Remember how it was? Remember when Alex Jones was just before he went kind of nuts? I mean, I'm sorry, but there was before he started to he just looked bad. He kind of looked a little crazy. You know what I mean? He sort of, kind of, you know what I mean? But do you remember that? Do you remember when everything and anything went? Everything and anything. Everything was okay. Nothing was off limits. Nothing. It was the most incredible thing anybody ever saw. It was wonderful. Anything. Aliens. 9/11, Wi-Fi. I mean, you name it. And they lured you in, and then all of a sudden they said, stop talking about it. How are you doing, you rascal? Thank you, my friend. Doing excellent. You want to hear some good news? Watch this. Watch this. Watch this very carefully.
The only reason you can now send America astronauts into space.
Watch the red.
As you can see, I'm not just MAGA, I'm dark MAGA.
Are you watching what's happening here? Or have you been, let me just ask you, have you been watching specifically X or following X? Have you been doing this? Have you been paying attention to X? Twitter? I'm trying so hard to call it X and Twitter, but I can't. Are you following this? Are you seeing what's happening right here? The numbers are it's excruciating. It's beautiful. It's glorious. There's this wonderful thing, 2024 forecast. This is from, it shows right now, forecast, Trump 54%. It's almost 10 points over Kamala. Right now, Poly Market. Have you seen Poly Market? Check this out. Trump, 54% to hers. Look at the numbers. Look at the numbers. Look at where it's going. Look at it. It's incredible. I hope you're reading the right thing. I still believe, my friends, that X whatever is still the best. Freedom says mail-in ballots on their way to all want to cheat again here in California. It's a joke, and I cast my vote legally in a voting booth for Donald J. Trump. Absolutely. Listen, I want you to do me a favor, and I want you to listen to me, and I want you to listen good. Dark MAGA. There we go. Oh, look at that. The colored. I like that. The other day, I gave CR. I gave somebody the thumbs up. The kind of a emoji or whatever it was, and it was a black hand. Apparently, some kind of a la mano nero. It was a black hand. And somebody said, "Hey, what does that mean?" I said, "Oh, I don't know." I said, "Well, what's wrong with that?" "Well, what is this, a joke?" I said, "No, it's a black. It's a hand. What the hell? It's a thumb." "Yeah, but it's a black. I'm sorry, I didn't get the right hue." Oh, for God's sakes! Now listen, I want everybody to do me a favor. I want you to lighten up. I want you to lighten up. For the longest time, we have been through this. Right now, we've got 28 days until the election. Now, remember, it's not going to be until January the 20th when everything is going to be actually. I mean, look, do you want me to sit here and give you every bad scenario there is? Is that what you want? Do you want me to sit here and tell you everything that's going to go wrong? Stop it. Enjoy this. Enjoy what's happening. Enjoy this. Enjoy just for the moment. Can you feel the momentum? And also, this kills me. This is, I think, Pinellas County. I think I saw this today. Look at this. I think this is Pinellas County. Look at that. This is where Uncle Len is, remember?
Yeah, this is great.
Here. This is the most incredible thing in the world. This, of course, this is the West Coast. And if you notice the thing, what do you notice about the West Coast? White sand. West Coast also, sunsets. Very important. Very, very, very different. It kills me to say that there are people, they don't know what to do. Governor DeSantis is fantastic, doing the best he can. And those lying FEMA bastards are doing everything they can to prevaricate. Everything they can. Speaking of which, listen to this. This kills me. I've been on the phone today with relatives and friends, and most of people I know are kind of inland, and they're hoping everybody's become an expert. Maybe the wind shear will limit who knows. But watch this right now. This is Governor DeSantis and his chief.
Floridians to finalize your storm preparations now, enact your plan. I highly encourage you to evacuate. We are preparing, and I have the State Emergency Response Team preparing for the largest evacuation that we have seen, most likely since 2017 Hurricane Irma. But to that end, I want to go back to our basics. Evacuate if you're in an evacuation zone. If you are not in an evacuation zone and your house was built in conjunction with the Florida Building Code, which pretty much throughout the state of Florida means after 2004, you may be better just to stay in place. If you're dependent on power, you will need to evacuate. If you're dependent on a special set of circumstances, you'll need to evacuate. But
if you're dependent on power, yeah.
If you're not one of those individuals and you're inland, not in an evacuation zone, it may be better for you to just stay in place.
That's right. That's what a lot of people are saying. This is it. And nobody's there to help. Nobody. And another thing too I'm talking about, my friends. The people that I know, the Floridians, crackers. By the way, cracker is an endearing term. That means somebody who was born in Florida. And what they are doing is interesting to note is that they are suggesting that they are worried about things like looting, and they don't want to leave their homes because if they leave their homes, sometimes very bad people show up. And there's one thing about Florida, or as I call it, Florida. And it's been not open carry, but it's been concealed. It is one of the most heavily armed states in the nation. It is we had carrying concealed firearms permits. I think first, I had mine, I think, before anybody. The Jack Hagler Self-Defense Act. Everybody's armed. Everybody. So a lot of people are saying, I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving because they've got a dog, and they say, we can bring a dog to a shelter. Saying, no, there are people who are hunkering down. Also, a lot of trees and live oak, and there's a lot of oak, and it's serious business. And I still cannot believe. You would think that there would be drones in the sky. You would see FEMA everywhere. You would see FEMA trucks. I would say drive around in FEMA trucks with lights on so they can see FEMA. Everywhere you go, you would see. I saw them. I saw this guy. I saw that. You would have people are trying to use social media and the like. I mean, this is their opportunity. These people simply don't care. And let me show you something else that's even weirder. You ready for this? This is the part that I don't understand. From a political point of view, Kamala and what's his name don't seem to understand optics. What they need to do is for somebody to tell this guy, Timmy, if he's interested, to tell him specifically, listen, you've got to make sure you clear with us anything you do. Everything you do is preternaturally weird. Everything you're doing is weird, strange, odd, crazy. Look at this is the latest one. This is on TikTok, and he supposedly is. I don't even know what this is. You tell me what this is. On my way to tell J.D. Vance to mind his own business. What is this? Look at this. Now, while all that's going on and all the disaster, and all, these people just don't seem to know. They don't seem to get it. They don't seem to grasp any of it. That's the part I don't understand. I don't understand. Again, my friends, before something happens, prepare with Lionel.com. People have been asking about this. Water, generators, water purification, food, ammo. You know what I'm talking about? Ammo. Isn't it something what we're doing here? We're talking about people getting real down to earth. Very, very basic. Now let's also go to this woman named Corinne Jean-Pierre, who I believe has aided, abetted, counsel, procured, and hired, and she has been absolutely a part of this zone of duplicity called the Biden White House. Nell is in the casa. Thank you, Nelson. God bless you. This is Peter Doocy attempting to tangle with this woman who apparently has no interest whatsoever. Listen to the prevarication, the lying, the mendacity
of funding. The administration has money to send to Lebanon without Congress coming back.
Always turning.
But Congress does have to come back
Always
to
looking
approve
down,
money to
turning
send to
pages.
people in North Carolina. Do I have that right?
Contempt.
Here's what I'm going to be very clear about. The president and the vice president has had a robust whole of government response to this. Hundreds of millions of dollars. I said it at the top, more than $200 million.
200 million when Israel and Ukraine get what? How many billions of dollars like that? Billions of dollars to kill people. Did you hear what I said? Billions of dollars to kill people. Hundreds of billions of dollars going elsewhere to kill people instead of going to Americans to prevent them from being killed. I can't believe this.
That we have directly put towards survivors here for disaster help. And that's because of this president's commitment to make sure that we are there for communities that are impacted. We take this very seriously again. We take this very seriously. And before the hurricane hit, we pre-positioned more than 1,500 federal folks on the ground to help. And so we have made sure that every state has gotten their storm requested emergency declaration. They requested it, and we made sure they received it. We've taken this very seriously. More than $200 million that we have provided to the impacted areas.
Each bomb going to Gaza, each bomb going to Ukraine, each bomb costs what? Almost that amount? Does she know what she's saying? We're paying hundreds of billions of dollars to kill foreign people and nothing to prevent Americans from being killed.
But instead, people want to do disinformation, misinformation,
which is dangerous.
Which is dangerous because then when folks on the ground hear that, they may not want to ask for the help that they need. That is there for them. That's our focus.
Ghosty, speak up.
President Biden is fond of saying,
Good.
Show me your budget and I will tell you what you value. If he's got money for people in Lebanon right now without Congress having to come back, what does it say about his values? There's not enough money right now for people in North Carolina who need it. That's not misinformation.
Wait, no, that is your whole premise of the question is misinformation, sir. What you do? Yes, it's misinformation.
Is there money to send to Lebanon right now?
I just mentioned to you that we provided more than $200 million to folks who are impacted in the area, and I just shared with you that people are deciding not to.
Tell them billions. Get the numbers right, Doocy. Not 200 million is a drop in the bucket. I can't. This is why I hate these people. I despise not them individually, but the concept that we could live in a system that is so corrupt, so bereft of rules that these morons would be allowed. These morons. Dear God. It never ceases to amaze me. You really want to get upset? Huh? Check this out.
I'd make is that there's a lot of mis and disinformation being pushed out there.
Now, here we go. Listen to this. This is today's theme. Let me explain something to you. This is how it works. They start off every day. Remember, you ever been like at a restaurant? You ever worked at a restaurant and seen like when they have the shift change, they have the meeting. Okay, today's specials are going to be chicken parm with a side of pasta. Our specials are going to be, the word is going to be, we're out of this, we're on the tagliatelle, but today's word is misinformation. Misinformation. This is the theme. So just don't tell them what we've done. Just say that what you're saying is misinformation. So KJP's at it, Karine Jean-Pierre, and now Numbnuts over here. Check this out. Her whole thing is this is misinformation. And listen very carefully. I will give you whatever you would like if you can tell me, was there any particular point during the course of this where she says anything even remotely cogent or informative?
The other point I'd make is that there's a lot of mis and disinformation being pushed out there by the former president about what is available, in particular to the survivors of Helene.
Okay.
And first of all, it's extraordinarily irresponsible. It's about him. It's not about you.
Okay.
And the reality is that FEMA has so many resources that are available to folks who desperately need them now, and resources that are about helping people get back on their feet and rebuild and have places to go. You are entitled to these resources. People are entitled to these resources. And it is critically important that people apply for the help that is there to support. That all of those resources were created for just these kinds of moments in an emergency situation, knowing that folks are entitled to have the relief that they so rightly need at this moment in time. So listen to your sheriffs around the places that have been impacted by Helene. Listen to your local sheriff who's going to tell you straight about what's available to you and how, for so many reasons and ways, there are no conditions attached to the relief that's available to you.
What are you talking about? Listen to, all you got to do is apply. Apply. Water's up to here. We got the application. This is just unbelievable. That's why you're going to get it handed to you. That's why. This is so perfect. And what is she doing? She's on Call Your Daddy or Who's Your Daddy. She's going to be on Howard Stern, Colbert, The View, fundraisers. Trump is all over the place. You can't write this better. It's as though Almighty God has reached down and said, this is what we're going to do. Now, remember something, my friends. Whenever I hear this voice, it reminds me of something. There was something, I don't know if you remember what Rush Limbaugh meant to a lot of folks. When I was just getting involved, kind of sort of in talk radio, out of nowhere, all of a sudden, this guy named Rush Limbaugh came along. And it was the most incredible thing anybody's ever seen. Rush Limbaugh was just, wow. Unbelievable. Rush Limbaugh. And what I saw, what we saw, was a voice that acted almost like an emollient. Sometimes people's voice, just hearing him every day, reminded people that there was this voice of calm and rationality. And I had the honor of working with him right here at WABC, the 17th floor. We used to see him every single day before he moved off years later to Florida. But when he was there, he was right down the hall. He'd make his way down the hallway to the room in the back with a golden mic. Always a gentleman, always a nice guy, very, very shy, very, 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 very shy. And listen to this. This will bring a lump to your throat.
Borders are secure. Our families are flourishing. Our values are renewed.
Trump loves this country in ways that many people in politics in the past don't, because their view of what America is a nation among many in the world. President Trump believes in America first. And can you imagine folks being hated and reviled for this? And yet he is. He's hated and reviled for loving America. It's between a man who believes America is good and decent against people who think America isn't good. They think America is unjust and immoral from the days of our founding, and they are trying to undermine and transform this country It's no more complicated than that. Folks, if you love this country, if you love America, the America you think exists, you don't have a choice in this election. Your only choice is President Trump. If you don't support President Trump here, you are going to end up facilitating the transformation of America into a country it was never intended to be. All we want is for all Americans to be free, to have the opportunity this Constitution and country offers everybody. We want a healthy and safe future.
There you go, my friends. How perfect, how beauteous that is. Our good friend Mel says, Harris and Wall's new slogan, America last and proud. Very sad to say that's going on. Now, the good news is, my friends, the good news, as I'm telling you, is that everything is, oh my God. Please watch. I've got to tell you something. Please watch our good friend, the inimitable, the ineffable, the one, the only, this incredible Elon Musk, where he came from. And he was on with Tucker laughing about a number of billionaires worried very much about a certain other deceased person's travel records and lists and that sort of thing. Now, I want to speak about that, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. And I want you to listen to me and listen very carefully. First, everybody has said, and I don't want to say the name. I don't want to bring this name up because the name apparently is something that causes algorithms to go berserk. Cobbs, he's hated by the most evil people on the planet. Sad indeed. Well, I'd like to be hated by the most evil people, which means I'm doing something right. And thank you. There is a person, for reasons I don't understand why people will say this. And by the way, throughout the course of this, I want you to promise me you're going to be making a note of this. Preparewithlionel.com and go and make sure. Again, I'm going to be prepare for this. It's coming. Something is coming your way. I don't know what it is. It may not be a hurricane. It may not be a typhoon. It may not be a cyclone or anything or a volcano. But something is going to happen to cause chaos, either in the destruction of the supply chain or whatever. I just want you to be aware of that. Preparewithlionel.com. This is so scary that we even have to talk about this. I never felt like this. I never felt like, wow. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, that entire event, that person from the beginning was not set up as a trafficking unit. He was set up as an extortion unit, a honeypot unit. He wasn't a trafficker. That wasn't the purpose of this. It wasn't. Trafficking is going on right now at $1 billion levels. God knows how much it's big. That's not what he was. He wanted the biggest names in the world to be caught on tape. We are dealing with some of the most clever people, and I am in awe of them. A multi-platformed group able to hit every aspect of our world in terms of entertainment, music, news, everything. So this guy comes along and he lures people into this. And some people who are very, very rich and wealthy want to be powerful. And by the way, there are people you've never heard of. So you're thinking of the big names, the big. Mr. Musk was talking about names like Mr. Gates and others as well. We'll see about that. I think at some particular points, they enjoy such a lofty protection. Really, nothing could ever really happen to them. But it doesn't really matter. But there are other people as well. Now, question number one, and listen carefully. Cobb says, unassailably correct. They all need to be exposed. Oh, yes. But here is the story. This was a honeypot. This was meant to lure people in so they could be caught and recorded. Everything this man, number 5, as we call him, because his name begins with the 5th letter of the alphabet. Everybody knows that his apartment, his big manse in the Upper East Side, his islands, his planes were recording studios. Recording studios. Do you understand what I'm saying? Recording studios. Who has the information today? Who has it? What was the official inventory from the FBI, from federal officials who went and served search warrants? What is the inventory is when they say what you take and where it goes. Who has it? Who has the information in the meantime? Let me give you an example. When you have somebody who is set up to be running honeypots and extortion rings and blackmail recordings, you have them always return to you and give you the information, the data, the recordings, the hard drives, the whatever it is, so that your boss, your benefactor, your leader has them. You don't have them laying around like, oh, look at this from 10 years ago. Hey, look. Oh, no. Those tapes are gone. Those hard drives are gone. They're fed, they're given, they're transmitted to the people responsible for him in the first place. He's not doing this on his own. He doesn't care anything about this. Where are they? Who's got them? Where did they go? They're really good in terms of finding out if there's Russian interference or Chinese interference or this interference. But here's the thing. Nobody is interested in saying, wait a minute, what happened here? Who were his lawyers? Who represented him throughout the year? Could they be privy to this under attorney-client privilege? Who has this? Where for safekeeping? What happened to that? Are extortion procedures and blackmail going on now to secure compliance and the like? These are the things people have to know. Now, I don't know why it's so difficult for people to understand this, but we keep talking about who is on the list. It doesn't matter. I just want you to understand this. We're missing the point here. There are people who say, do you know how many people went on islands and planes? He had parties all the time. He rubbed elbows with Harvard. He gave money. And he was like, you know who used to do that too? He loved science. He always felt inadequate because this fellow worked at the Dalton School, never even had I don't even think he had a college degree. And his benefactor, his godfather, so to speak, was Bill Barr's father. Dalton is a big, supposed, Upper East Side, big, private school here in New York City. People aren't asking the right questions. They're not asking the right questions. I don't know why they're talking about the list, black books. Who cares about this? I don't care about that. Anybody can say, sure, I was there. Yeah, I was there a bunch of times. I got pictures. We had a party. Peter Jennings. I'm just giving it Walter Cronkite, just names. The guy was the belle of the ball in New York. People wanted to go. You might have said, well, did you ever hear did you rumors about him? Yeah, I did. They heard rumors about Matt Lauer. They heard rumors about Charlie Rose. I knew about Charlie Rose. I don't even work at CBS. Everybody knows this. You're asking the wrong questions. And you're deliberately asking the wrong questions. I mean, what are you talking about? The biggest question, and I'm telling you right now, is going to be even bigger when Diddy gets involved, because these people don't have. What are you going to do to Bill Gates? What are you going to do? Seriously, if you had him on the grassy knoll with a Mauser with a scope in 1963, would have been probably impossible. It doesn't matter. He's Bill Gates. You can't touch him. I don't care if you've got him in tribal sacrifice. It doesn't matter. What do you think you're going to do to Bill Gates? What? Tell me. Nothing. Oh, he's getting scared. Scared of what? Well, did you see Elon and Tucker? Well, they're going to worry because these billionaires. If something happens, what are they going to do? What? They own the DOJ. What are you talking about? The only people who get hit are people like Eric Adams. By the way, Mishkino, this poor guy. Everybody in his entire. This is the mayor of New York. His entire office. Everybody is leaving. One's flipping, giving testimony. Why? Why him? I have no idea. They say the reason why is because he spoke negatively as to the president's sanctuary city thing. Okay. So let me just bring you up to speed. Please ask the question. Whenever you talk about number 5, ask him who's got the information, who's got the tapes, who's got the videos, who's got the hard drives, who's got this. I don't care about an appointment book. I don't care about that. Doesn't matter. We don't even ask the right questions. Diddy's another story. Diddy right now is freaking out because Diddy knows stuff for the long, and it's all coming out now. They've got pictures of him. Do you see this picture of him kissing Bono at some awards? And Bono said, like, hey. Denzel Washington's coming forward. Oh, look at me. And Diddy's laughing. Where are the people? Nobody takes my calls. Nobody's helping me. Now we've got the lawyer who is representing a lot of people, and they're sending demand letters. We know it's you. You did this. Pay us and whatever. So here's the best story. Here's the truth regarding that. And I talk about this on Lionel Legal, by the way. Lionel Legal is our other sister channel. Also got one on the Menendez brothers. This is the greatest story. These guys are out. They're going to do time serve. They're out. They will be out. Guarantee. We'll talk about that in a moment. Diddy right now is freaking out. He says, I got to get out of here. I can't take this. Diddy, you're looking at forever. You got this clown where what do they want? They don't want you. What information? Nothing. They want you. You'll do fine. They just got all the, where's the information? Who has the videos? Who has everything? Who has it? This is what J. Edgar Hoover did. You know the story about Hoover, right? Hoover knew all the dirt on everybody. Hoover would go to you and say, I want to talk to you. Yes, sir. I want you to know we know all about this. Don't worry. It won't go any further. What? You know about that? Absolutely. But don't worry. You've got friends. Don't worry about this. And then when it came time for the appropriations the following year, Hoover just mandatory retirement? No way. Remember The Godfather? Remember Senator Geary? Remember that? The woman, this poor prostitute, they dispatched. Al Neary got her. Remember that one? He said, don't worry, you're among friends. He goes, I don't remember anything about it. This was kind of MK Ultra sort of. They doped him off this poor woman, and he wakes up. This is how it works. You do know this, right? This is how it works. But the question is, who's behind this? I think we know who's behind this. Ask yourself, first of all, who are the people who are really, well, let's look. If you were going to blackmail somebody, who would you want to blackmail? I want to blackmail somebody who's in charge of the purse strings, somebody in Washington, somebody who can give me money, somebody who can give me money, not regulate me or regulate my competitor or whatever it is. This is so old. It's so gangster. It's not even funny. Diddy's going to blow everything up. Every name. Think of every name. It's going to be, you are not going to believe what happens. George Keane says, think Diddy the Pooh ever thought he'd get caught? Nope. He didn't think he was doing anything. This is what you're saying. Wait a minute. Raul Rodriguez is back. Just when I saw you back, my friend. Bless your heart. Anyway, Now, I did another one coming up. This is a fascinating story. Who remembers the Menendez brothers? Anybody? Again, go to Lionel Legal. I'll give you the whole theory behind that. The Menendez brothers. Remember that case? It was incredible. It was so interesting. These two people, these brothers, killed their family. They're as guilty as the day is long. Shotgun. Got them both. Why? Because of what the father was doing. And the mother, perhaps either through complicity or whatever it is. Here's the question. Do people, over a period of time, after a period of abuse, get to fight back, get to do something where you say, you know what? I've had it. Let me give you a scenario. Here's a woman, let's say, who for years has been abused, terribly abused by her husband or whatever it is. Physical, mental, sexual, psychological. She's got to keep the family together. She's got no way to go. He's in charge of everything. He's in charge of all the money, the kids. She's been so suppressed, so kept down, almost like learned helplessness for years. She could have left, but she can't leave. She could have left. The Menendez brothers could have left. They could have left a long time ago, but they didn't. Carla says, those circles are tight-knit. My stepdaughter attended the Chapin School, alongside Ivanka Trump. And I've noticed they protect each other's privacy, for better or worse. Same as Dalton. Yeah. Well, they do it unless they get their, you-know-what in a ringer. And thank you, by the way, Carla. That's okay. That's another story. But there is something to be said about that. That's kind of one of the beauties of that kind of a close-knit group. But let me go back to this. Here's the woman. One day she wakes up. She's in the kitchen. She looks outside. He's watching TV. He's not hurting anybody. He's doing nothing. She's just looking at him from behind. Sees him watching TV. Finds a gun, has a gun, does something, and takes the guy out. Precipitated by nothing. At least at that moment. Now, what is she going to do? She goes to trial. What is the defense? Is she insane? No. Does she know right from wrong? Yes. Diminished capacity? Probably not. Irresistible impulse? What is there? I want to hear it. Call it PTSD? I, as a juror, would probably use nullification and basically find her not guilty, saying, I don't care what information you got. This guy's a bum. He's a crumb bum, and I'm going to acquit her. But you've got to get that information out. You got to let people know this. But is it relevant? What relevance does it have? There's no defense. That's what happens with the Menendez brothers. They had a trial, the mistrial, and then the retrial. They kept a lot of the information out and that sort of thing. We are dealing with people right now. We are dealing with the criminal justice system. And many people ask, why are you against the death penalty? Because of this. Because of this. Because of this. Because these people do not have any idea or any notion of we have a system that works, but sometimes it doesn't. Let me ask you something. Let's assume, okay, listen to me carefully. Let's assume the following is the case. Okay? Let me say this. Let's assume that I am representing somebody. And by the way, this is the preparewithlionel.com. I want you to know this. Write this down. Send a gift to your kids, friends, relatives, whatever it is. Look at Florida. A lot of people are going to wish they had done that. How did they know? In any event. So here we have it. Here's this case. You're at home one night. You're at home. And your daughter comes to you and says, Mommy, Daddy, whatever. There are these people outside. What? There are these people. And they're looking and they're trying to get into your car. They're rifling. They're getting into the car. You say, hey, get away. And they say no. And you feel threatened. You feel there's 5 of them. 5. They don't live. These aren't your neighbors. They're either coming towards you, but they're menacing. They're trying. They're breaking windows. They want to get into your car, steal your car, whatever it is. You have a rifle. You have a rifle. You take a shot at one of them, and you hit one of them. I don't know. You might hurt him. You might off him. Do you believe that this person should be acquitted for firing a round outside to protect an inanimate object, not a person, but their car? In this particular case, somebody was severely injured or not. What would you as a juror do? Guilty or not guilty? What would you do? You've read it. There's no defense whatsoever. Is guilty or not guilty? I don't even know what I don't know what there's no defense. What would you do? Guilty or not guilty? What would you do? What would you do? Now remember, you're the juror. You don't have to give any reason if you find somebody guilty or not. Me, not guilty. Absolutely. I don't care what anybody says. Not guilty. Not to. Look at this. Leave it to my friend. Listen to Johnny Ballgame here. No defense? No self-defense? No. Self-defense for what? A car? Self-defense for a car? You're inside. They're outside. They're breaking into your car. Johnny says, what about self-defense? What are you, the car? What are you, my mother, the car? What are you, Jerry Van Dyke? What the hell are you talking about? There's no self-defense. It's a car. You're inside. Not even trying to come inside. You shot somebody outside, you're going to drag them inside, as the cops would say. I'd find them not guilty. That's me. Remember the case? It was a fellow years ago. He was at there was an extradition. This was wild. You've seen this on YouTube. His son had been apparently molested repeatedly by this fellow, and they got him and they brought him back in, and they were walking him through the airport. Remember that? And the father, who had been, I think he drank a fifth of liquor, he was just so enraged. He was pretending to stand on a phone as the bad guy, person being extradited, walks by. He pulls out a gun and pow, gets him right there, drops the gun, and that's it. He got probation. I loved it. See, my sense of justice sometimes has nothing to do with the law. I know that sounds weird. There's no defense for this. And whether it's the Menendez brothers, let me ask you this question. Okay, let's take in the Diddy case. What if somebody says, I was 10 years old at the time. I was 5 years old at the time. I was whatever years old at the time. I was a kid. I was brought to these parties and I shouldn't have been, but I was. How old are you now? This was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, whatever how early could that have been, honey, those parties? How many years ago? 20 years ago? Wow. 1991. Okay. 25 years ago, something like that. Anyway, maybe. Now, yep. Now, here's the question. When does the statute of limitations come in? Think about that. When does the statute of limitations come in? Does that make any sense? Somebody comes to you and says, hey, listen, 30 years ago, I was at a party and I was a kid and you were there and you did terrible things. 30 years ago. How do you plead? What? How do you plead? That was great. The guy didn't even see it coming. Yep, he did not. You can see it on YouTube. It's right there. 30 years ago. What if somebody says to you 30 years ago, you say, who? That guy. No. I didn't do that. Yes, you did. Now, unless there's a video or something. And 30 years ago, they didn't have a lot of, phones now. What are you supposed to do? How about this? Catholic Church's diocese, 50 years ago, Father Fitzgibbons supposedly did this. 50 years ago, the guy's dead. Is there any finality? George Keane said, well, did he become the new Catholic priest? Class action? Yep. But in smaller numbers. Oh, yeah. And this guy, Busby, it says Busby. Yeah, Busby, he's suing everybody. So what I would do is I would make it sound like, oh, sure, absolutely. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Just show the jury. Yeah, look at this. Here's one for you. Run the ads. Run the ad. He's like the new Morgan and Morgan. Have you been injured? Do you want to be injured? Have you thought about being injured? Hi. Did you go to Diddy's party? Did you know Diddy? Call this number, 832. How many did he get? 3,000 people called up? 12,000 people. How many people at the party? Come on. You see, if you told a jury this, if you said, this is beautiful, if this is a money grab, they're just picking the bones. They know this guy's done. They know he's finished. Well, here's the other one too. Let's say this guy calls up and says, we're going to sue you. You're going to sue me for what? We're going to sue you for this. You know what? Can you grant me immunity from the Department of Justice, from the DOJ? What if they charge me criminally? What are you talking about? I'm not going to pay you anything. If they're going to prosecute me and ruin me, the hell with you, because you're going to then testify against me in federal court. So what am I going to pay you money for? Well, we'll ask the prosecutors not to prosecute you. Doesn't work like that. Digging in graves for suspects. Digging in graves for suspects. Yes. Thanks, Elle, for all you do every day. Thank you, Extra Mile. I appreciate that immensely, sincerely. See, this is where you want people to kind of feel sorry for Diddy by saying, oh, come on, enough. There are more people. If you figure the numbers, let's say he's got 3,000 people who call, figure how many parties there were. That means everybody who ever showed up for the past 20 years is calling in. They were abused. And let me ask this question. With the exception of children, imagine this cross-examination. Your name is Mrs. Whatever. Okay, fine. Tell me, were you dragged to the party? Thank you, Martin Higgins. Thank you, sir. Were you dragged? Did somebody pick you up in a white van and drag you to the Diddy party? Were you forced to attend? Did somebody lure you and cajole you? Did somebody force you into this party? Were you clubbed? Were you drugged? Were you kidnapped, dragooned? Were you chained and bound? Did you, we have a list here. Didn't you call so-and-so to be there? You knew this is called a freak off. Do you understand what a freak off? This is not a Tupperware party. George Keane says, what's the difference between Diddy and asbestos? Okay. At least asbestos is fireproof. Both lead to billions in settlements. Well, interesting. I don't know about the billions. I don't know how much money he's even got. CR says, did you see Diddy's mom's letter today? Yes. Why is she doing that? What is the point? What? First of all, I like this one. Diddy's mother. Imagine years ago. This is Janice Combs. Janice Combs. Sean Diddy Combs' mom condemns his public lynching amid sexual abuse. Janice Smalls Combs spoke out in defense of the embattled music mogul as he faces trial for sex trafficking and racketeering. It is heartbreaking to see my son judged not for the truth, but for a narrative created out of lies, said Janice in the statement shared with people via her lawyer. To bear witness what seems, is this a typo? Should be to what seems. To bear witness what seems to be like a public lynching of my son before he had the opportunity to prove his innocence. It's a pain too unbearable to put into words. Like every human being, my son deserves to have his day in court, to finally share his side and to prove his innocence. Well, he will. He will. Now, there's loads of pictures of her. Bless her heart. Now, let me ask you this question. I don't want to bring this up to date. And I'm sorry that to bring this up. But remember, Officer Chauvin, He was the officer who was charged ultimately with the death of Saint George of Floyd. Remember that? He didn't get that. Nobody cared about his due process. I know the two have nothing to do with it, but it's funny. I would imagine people probably said, justice for George Floyd. Excuse me. Yes. This is a public lynching. What? Yeah. This officer Chauvin, 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 like chauvinism, Chauvin. He deserves his day in court. What about him? I can say the same thing you said. Why is he's going to get his day in court. What do you think people should do? What do you think people should do, Mrs. Combs? Hookup says, can I ask you a question? Why did he be bad? Thank you so much. Excellent. Now, here's the question. All right, Ms. Combs, would you like me to read you one of the affidavits? Would you like me to do that? Can I pick one for you? Can I pick one of the claims? Would you like to hear this? Sit down, Ms. Combs. You want to hear this? Okay. I'm gonna read this one to you. This is so that you understand what we're talking about. This is from a person who was, let's say, 13, 14, 15, whatever it is. I'm going to read this. I'm going to read about the lotions and the drugs and what was done and the IVs and all these people who testified. By the way, Mrs. Combs, yeah, did you see this picture of, who was that, Cassie he was knocking the hell out of? No, that's not Doug Emhoff. That's Diddy. This is your son. Did you teach him? Is this the way he treats women? What do you say about that? Is this the way you ain't no way to treat a lady? Is that it? Why in the name of God would you come forward unless you want to just put your mug out there and say, look at me, I'm dressed up? Because you know what? If he gave you gifts too, we'll take those too. Thank you very much. We didn't even know he had a mother. But now you've come forward basically besmirching and impeaching the integrity of the victims. Way to go. Women who were there. Do you want to hear the testimony? I don't think you're going to like this. I don't think we're going to like this. Do you ever hear about do you really want to hear this? Little boys and people? Are you sure? If you want it that way, I'll be more than happy to help you out. I don't think she's going to like the truth. George Keane says, maybe Diddy uses Mrs. Combs' senior discount. Okay. Senior discount for the loop. Remember, this is serious business here. And the only defense they have is to say, how many defendants do we have, or how many victims do we have? Let's go through them. If you are of not that any kind of abuse is ever warranted, but if you go to a party called a freak off and you knew it was what it was about, there's something very wrong with you. For you then to turn around and claim all of a sudden that you were the victim of whatever it is. That's all I'm saying. Okay? So, dear friends, George Keane, Pilgrim Media, CR, excellent points. Martin Higgins, Extra Mile, the Brad, Carla, the cooking CEO, Cobbs, thank you, Mel, Nelson, Freedom, M, and Kevin. Thank you so much for your kindness. Let me also remind you, ladies and gentlemen, to follow Mrs. L. She's got stuff ready to go at Lynn's Warriors. Lynn's Warriors. Follow her on YouTube. Lynn's Warriors. You know what I'm saying? We appreciate you following her, and you'll be very glad you did, because she has one of the most important focuses on this. That's number one. Number two, Lionel Legal. I love the Menendez case. And the reason why I love it is there's not a defense available. I just want nullification. I would love to try that case and make that jury hate those people. Hate them. And then come back with not guilty. And you can't appeal an acquittal. Fifth Amendment, double jeopardy. Sorry. Can't do it. Put that guy on trial. That guy was a monster. This Jose Menendez was a monster. And this goes on more than you realize. and this is why I don't want the death penalty, because it doesn't, if these people, they could have been, look, what they did was absolutely wrong. Absolutely. But there's a reason why they did it. Now, friends, let me remind you as well. I'm going to say this again. For water and supplies and food and all preparations, prepare with Lionel.com. Right now, they've got a deal, kind of an introductory deal. You can save $50 on a 4-week emergency food supply. See what this is. If that works for you, fine. I don't know what I would be buying everything. Think of the room you've got, sometimes in garages, of stuff that's just. Prepare with Lionel.com. This is the best company in the world. And if Florida and Tennessee and Georgia is not an indicator of this, of what's coming, I don't know. And also, for those interested in gold, which is always, it never loses its value. LionelNationGold.com. Here's what I forgot to tell you this. There is they have these bars, these kilo bars, and they are, hang on a minute. Just a minute. Hang on. They have these kilo bars, and it is about $85,000. Just 2.2 pounds. They're the most incredible things in the world. You should see this. Have you ever seen them before? Okay, seriously. Until you've seen it, it's just like a little kilo. It's just a bar. $85,000. Boom, right there. And you go like this with a knife and take some off. Just kidding, of course. Missed post, cutting room reminder. Thank you, George Keene. Look at this. I'm getting there. You are so good. Georgie, you are so smart. Look at this. Is Mrs. Combs dating Nathan Wade? What a fool. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yes, October the 26th. Ladies and gentlemen, at the cutting room, I will be there. At the cutting room. October the 26th. If you're listening to this, in the description section, right below the front page, there's the tickets are available. 10 days before, we're going to have cards we hang out. There's going to be music. We got buttons. We got balloons. It's a party, because 10 days before, I think one of the most important, will be one of the most critical elections in our time. All right, dear friends, I love you. Amazing. Now, programming note, tomorrow, we're starting at 7 a.m., not 8 a.m., 7 a.m. So make sure you're subscribed to Lionel Nation. Make sure you hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams and new videos. Tomorrow, 7 a.m. Not 8, 7. Huh? I know, honey, but they don't have to know that. See, they don't have to know that. I know, but they can hear it. They see on the microphone. In any event. So here's what we're going to do. 7 o'clock. Okay? Terrific. Also follow Mrs. L at Lynn's Warriors. You understand this? Lynn's Warriors. All right, dear friends. Have a great and glorious night. Remember, Trump, look at this, Trump 2024. It's going to win, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to win. He's going to win. We're going to win. I want you to imagine. Just think of the moment. Just think of that night. Think of November the 5th. Think. When you hear it's official, CNN, MSDNC, it's official. We're calling it now. We're calling it. And you want to see, whose face do you want to see first? Rachel Maddow or Behar or Rosie O'Donnell? Whose face do you want to see when they announce Donald Trump, the second president in American history to win 2 non-consecutive times? First being Grover Cleveland, his being the second. Back in the saddle again. Think about what you will feel like. Think about what that will be like. Think. Never having to see Biden, Kamala, Karine Jean-Pierre, Booty Giggity Giggity, this entire cacophony of humanity. You understand this? You understand this? Okay. All right, dear friends. See you tomorrow. Don't forget, 7 a.m. Until then, remember, as we always say, my friends, don't forget the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue you. Dead.